Welcome to your Week in Review here on WINN FM 98.9 for the period August 25th through 30th. Making the news last week, St. Kitts and Nevis Prime Minister continues to laud minimum wage increase as a significant financial move by government.
Brantley presents will as a receipt in the ongoing Southlands debate in Nevis. Some people say it's not credible.
Elevate Heartfelt Moments initiative continues to provide family bonding opportunities for incarcerated individuals.
Premier Brantley confirms interest by an investor to develop a special sustainability zone in Nevis.
2025-2026 academic year opens with growth, resilience, and academic excellence in mind.
Dr. Janice Daniel Hodge threatens legal action against Brantley in the Nevis South Coastal Lands debate. Back to school convocation brings together teachers, support staff, and education officials on Nevis.
Now the details. Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, the Honourable Dr. Terence Drew, during a recent interview on Issues, brought to the public what he feels is a necessary perspective shift regarding the recent increase in the Federation's minimum wage. The most recent minimum wage increase in St. Kitts and Nevis took effect on July 1st, 2025, raising the minimum wage to EC $12.50 per hour or $500 per week for a 40-hour work week, the highest minimum wage in the OECS based on recent analysis. The Prime Minister emphasized the importance of the increase, citing that a wage dispute sparked the Buckley's uprising.
And that has been a founding principle of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party back then when it was the Workers' League, when it was started in the 1930s. And just to add, we are the oldest political party, the oldest Labour Party in the whole region. And I think it's because we have stuck to principles like these, like seeking to improve workers' conditions.
Definitely.
And wage increase is one of the most significant ways in which you can do that. Why is a minimum wage increase so important? One, it says that persons who work should not work for less than a particular amount. Secondly, it put money in people's pocket. Joni, when you increase the minimum wage from $9 per hour to $12.50 per hour, that's going from $340 per hour, $360 per hour, to $500. I mean, $360 per week to $500 per week, which equates to over $500 extra per month. And that goes to thousands of people. And that is why I say that this has put more money in people's pocket, going from $360, $340, all the way up to $500 per week. So when you calculate it per month, it's over $500 per month. But the reason why a wage is so important, an increase in wage, one, you cover thousands of people.
With the increase, the government views it as a means of solidifying the financial standing of citizens.
Secondly, it empowers people because people would have more money in their pocket, so the spending power goes up. This has benefits socially, even psychologically, when a worker would work for more. In addition to that, it means that if someone with an increased minimum wage were to go to a bank, they're standing before the financial institution, in this case a bank, is much better. And it gives them an opportunity to be able to have a mortgage. Whereas before it might have been more challenging. Not that you would not have any challenge, but increasing your income, going before a bank, increases your chances. Thirdly, when you reach the age of retirement, your social security would be higher. So this is not just putting money in people's pocket now. It's money being put in people's pocket now, and money being put in people's pocket later on when they retire. That is why an increase in minimum wage is so significant and so powerful. Let's say you were to have a program where it is not linked to wage. One, that can be cut at any time, because it's not in law that you must receive it. Secondly, when you come to your retirement is not based on those things. It's based on your wage income or your salary income, how much ever you bring in. And thirdly, when you go before a financial institution, they would not count any other income outside of what they would consider to be a wage, a salary, or from a business. If they just think it's a passive transfer, it will not go towards your standing before financial institution. So on those three things, that is why the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party always seek to increase people's wages and salaries. And that is why the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party must be commended for this tremendous policy position in terms of empowering our people. So there's more money in people's pocket now. There's over $500 per month for thousands and thousands of workers. Secondly, when you go before a financial institution, your position is stronger. And thirdly, when you retire, you get a larger social security, a larger pension as a result.
The increase in the minimum wage has been a topic of debate for some time, as while the need to support workers is acknowledged, concerns persist about the potential effects of the wage hike. Opposition leader and Premier of Nevis, the Honourable Mark Brantley, voiced concerns that if not managed correctly, the minimum wage increase could lead to higher prices, effectively erasing the benefit for workers. Brantley's sentiment was also echoed, as some commentators have warned of a wage increase illusion, where higher wages are offset by higher prices and a higher cost of living, leaving low-income earners in the same predicament. The private sector has also raised doubts about the economic readiness to absorb the changes, expressing fears that the increase could threaten fragile businesses. The Prime Minister continues to report the positives of the increase.
Now, in addition to all of this, because there is more money in people's pockets, spending goes up, and this can help local businesses as there will be faster turnover of goods moving through the economy. And as a result of that, you will see the benefit there as well. And so I want to say that this really is a tremendous achievement to have this minimum wage to impact the lives of so many thousands of workers here in St. Kitts and Nevis.
The debate surrounding the increase encompasses the government's support of economic justice and freedoms, taking into account the cost of living in St. Kitts and Nevis. In contrast, others remain cautious about the broader economic implications.
The ongoing debate surrounding the development of a special sustainability zone has taken another turn, with some people arguing that the Premier of Nevis, Mark Brantley, failed to provide credible receipts to support claims that opposition member Dr. Janice Daniel Hodge sold lands for the development. The Premier of Nevis on August 25, 2025, accused Dr. Daniel Hodge of engaging in land sales for the proposed sustainability zone and gained millions of dollars, while simultaneously discouraging citizens from selling their property. Daniel Hodge refuted the claims, saying that it was false. She threatened legal action and further challenged the leader to present concrete evidence of such a transaction. She said, quote, "If the Premier can prove anywhere that I have pocketed millions from any land sale, I will resign my seat forthwith," unquote. Brantley encouraged citizens to listen to his August 27, 2025 edition of On the Mark for the reveal of the receipts to substantiate the allegation. He argued that Dr. Daniel Hodge is the executor of her father's will, her father being Dr. Simeon Daniel, the first Premier of Nevis.
And here's the paragraph of the will, ladies and gentlemen. And this speaks to the dishonesty of the leader of NRP. In the will, this is what her father said. "I direct that my 25 acres at Cox Heath Estate," these are the lands we're talking about, "I direct that my 25 acres at Cox Heath Estate be sold. And after paying expenses, the proceeds should be divided accordingly. The value of 5 acres each to Janice Hodge." I won't mention the other beneficiaries. They're not relevant to the discussion. So, this is the will, probated on the 12th of December 2012, which appoints Dr. Janice Daniel Hodge as executor of her father's estate, and then goes on to say, sell the land. But when the 25 acres is sold, 5 acres of that is for Dr. Janice Daniel Hodge. Now, how in good conscience could Dr. Hodge come to the people of Nevis to tell us that she has no land over there and she sold no land over there? And that is why in my speech I said that Dr. Janice Daniel Hodge pocketed money, because in her own statement she said that this agreement was entered into since last year. And she therefore knows that as the executor, she signed to sell the land and would have pocketed whatever money, whether she has been paid in piece or in full. Whether she has had a deposit or the full price, it really does not matter. She has pocketed the money.
In a statement on August 18, 2025, Dr. Daniel Hodge revealed that her father desired to have his lands in the South sold, and land sales were conducted in 2024, declaring, however, that when the approach was made, there was no reason for concern.
For the record, my late father, Sir Simeon Daniel, owned land on the southern side of Nevis, and he gave clear instructions in his last will and testament that the land is to be sold. On that basis, when the executors of his estate were approached with a request to purchase that land last year, an agreement was negotiated to sell the land. Those were the wishes of my late father. As far as I can recall, there was nothing unusual or no reason to be concerned when the agreement was executed. Personally, I do not own any land on the south side of Nevis, and I am not selling any land on the south side of Nevis.
Brantley failed to provide credible evidence that Dr. Janice Daniel Hodge benefited from land sales to the proposed sustainability zone development is the main feedback from the public. This left the Premier's claims hanging, with pressure mounting for clarity and openness in the discussion. Some requests and questions on the table are: let us see the signature on the land sale agreement. Let us see the document to prove the transaction was made. And if you as Premier were uncertain during the first 7 months of 2025 about a probable development of the southern coast, what do you have to prove that Daniel Hodge and the other executors knew of such a plan in 2024 when the land sale agreement was carried out? A few months ago, when owners of land in the southern coast of Nevis were being approached by 17 Degrees North to sell their lands, it raised an alarm. Some citizens called for transparency from the government, particularly Premier Brantley himself, about whether a major project was destined to get underway along the southern coast. They demanded his accountability to prevent speculation. At his press conference in February 2025, Brantley told a WINN FM reporter that investors were seeking to make significant investments on the island, but he did not have enough information to confirm any development in the south.
So all I can say to you is this, that I'm aware that there are investors who are looking at significant investments on the island. As I've said, when I have information, as is my style and the way that I've tried to manage the affairs of Nevis, I will definitely come. You won't have to ask me, because I will come to you and give you that information. I have no information to report as yet, except that I am aware that various investors are looking at investing on the island of Nevis. If you're going to do, Ms. Weeks, property, hotel, resort development, you can't do it without land. You're going to build it in the sky, and build it in the sea. You have to land. Four Seasons Resort, I don't think there's any sane division, or petition for that matter, who would argue that the Four Seasons Resort did not catapult Nevis in terms of its development, in terms of its economy. You have nearly 1,000 people working down there. That was 30-something years ago. Where they built it on? They built it in the air, in the sky. They had to acquire land.
A back and forth between Brantley and Carlin Lawrence, a resident of Gingerland, at a town hall meeting in July 2025, continues to resonate with the people. Lawrence inquired about the Southland sales, sharing circulating speculations.
If you're hearing that they're going to become something so private and so exclusive that perhaps, because as you say, it's rumor, perhaps I may not be able to go down there with my grandchild. I may not be able to fish. The boat may not be able to go out. That to me then falls on government to make sure it looks out for the people and let us know what's really going on in the area.
Well, I think that's fair, but as you say, you started by saying rumor, and I would be a fool as Premier to sit up here and say I'm responding to every rumor. If I had to deal with every rumor that I hear every day, I would have no time to do the actual work for the people of Nevis. So if you have rumors or you're listening to rumors, I would suggest read the Bible instead.
Maybe it's not a rumor.
Because, I am saying that we as government have no knowledge of what you're speaking because no formal proposal has come to the government. I explained that. So here you are talking about rumors, and you're asking me as Premier to respond to rumors. I say read the Bible, read Genesis. I think it's a far better use of your time.
Mr. Premier, are you confirming that it is a rumor? Are you confirming that it's a rumor and there's no truth to it?
But I don't know. Am I not speaking English? I'm trying my very best to explain that the government has no proposal before it for any development of the kind that you say is rumored. That is what I'm saying. If and when such a thing comes, consistent with our transparent approach, we will definitely come and talk about it.
But we should be concerned, shouldn't we? We should be concerned.
Opponents maintained that the Premier's statements on August 25 and August 27, 2025 were an attempt to distract the public from growing concerns about land acquisition for the proposed Special Sustainability Zone. Meanwhile, the Premier on August 27, 2025 confirmed that the interested developer is an investor, Mr. Olivier Jansen.
The developer, I am not certain what name the developer is going to go under, but I know that they're using the name of South Nevis Limited or Nevis South Limited, something like that. It's a company, a local company. I think it's South Nevis Limited. That's the
local
company
by a citizen, correct?
I'm sorry?
A local company run by a citizen?
Yes, the person has advised that they have Sinkis Nevis citizenship, yes.
I see. And what is their name?
The gentleman who we've been dealing with is a gentleman named Olivier Jansen, Jansen. He's been the primary person that we've been dealing with, but he has a very large team running to probably 60 or 70 people working with him.
The Elevate program continues the success of its Heartfelt Moments initiative, a family bonding initiative that allows residents of His Majesty's Prison, St. Kitts and Nevis, to share quality time with their children. The Heartfelt Moment program was officially launched on December 17th, 2024 and continued on August 23rd, 2025. The program continues to work on rehabilitation efforts. Alicia Collin, Elevate program coordinator, shared that the program is being done in stages.
Elevate is a transformational program that is being run from the Prime Minister's office. And last year, the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Honorable Dr. Terence Drew, would have launched crime and violence as a public health initiative. We are also connecting them to their families. So we are reaching out to their families and we will continue to do work. We are doing it in stages.
One of the participating fathers of the program, Mikhail Marisha, who was allowed 8 hours of uninterrupted time with his daughter and other family members, shared thoughts on what the program meant to him.
Well, being able to interact with my daughter is a blessing because, like I said, my daughter is 10 years old and she's going, and so to be able to speak with her and spend time with her while she's going through her changes in life, it brings joy to my heart, you understand, because I recently learned that she's now playing football, you understand me? I just hope she turns out to be a little female football star, you understand me? Everything out of she mouth right now is football. When I was on the road, everything used to be dance. Now she shut down dancing and it's football, you understand me? So being able to communicate with her and learn what she's going through on a daily basis, it's a blessing, and I'm really appreciative of it.
Marisha reminded people of the weight of crime on the family.
I would like them to do their best to keep away from trouble, bad company, because being incarcerated where you have to be on remand for several years before your case could come up, being away from your child who is growing up and those kind of things, it's heartbreaking, honestly, and that's why I'm so grateful for this opportunity to get to spend time with my daughter, you understand me, because I get to make up for time that was already lost, you understand me. So if you fall in the wrong crowd, if you get yourself mixed up in things, please, and you have children out there, please stay away from these things, you understand me, because the children them need their father in their life, honestly. Growing up, they need some kind of male figure in their life, especially if you have a son. And most daughters, you don't know, father is everything to them, you understand me? So try to stay away from crime.
This initiative is in collaboration with His Majesty's Prison, social services, guidance and counseling professionals, psychosocial support providers, and connects families to tutoring, family counseling, and continued care services. The program objectives provide intentional quality time for residents of His Majesty's Prison and their children, promotes emotional healing, resilience, and positive communication, strengthens rehabilitation efforts, and supports reintegration and advance crime and violence prevention as a public health priority.
The Premier of Nevis, Mark Brantley, came under additional scrutiny on Monday night, August 25, after shifting his position on the possibility of developing a special sustainability zone locally. He dismissed earlier reports of an investor showing interest in such a project, explaining that no formal interest had been made to the Nevis Island administration, and in another instance referred to the reports as rumors. However, the Premier, in his Monday night, August 25 statement, confirmed that an investor expressed interest in pursuing a special sustainability zone on the island of Nevis. While he did not go into detail about the proposal and when it was brought before him, he acknowledged that discussions are underway to review the matter with no decision made.
My fellow citizens and residents, I address you this evening to explain to you recent legislative developments in the National Parliament of St. Kitts and Nevis, touching and concerning the Special Sustainability Zones Authorization Law, passed with unanimous support in the Parliament on Monday, 11th August 2025. I address you at this time because the Nevis Island Administration has been formally approached by an investor seeking to establish such a zone on the island of Nevis. That investor is a citizen of St. Kitts and Nevis. Matters are now under active discussion at the cabinet level, and no decisions have been arrived at. It is, however, important that I keep the Nevisian public fully abreast of developments to date.
The Premier sought to calm public concerns surrounding plans for a potential special sustainability zone being set up, stressing that any such development would function strictly within the law, with the Nevis Island administration having full control of any development.
Under Section 4 of the law, the Prime Minister may enter into such development agreements and so declare any such zone on the island of St. Kitts. However, where any such zone is to be declared for the island of Nevis, Section 4.2 of the law makes it clear that there can be no such zone created in Nevis without the approval and consent of the Nevis Island Administration. I want to emphasize here that there can be no designation of any area in Nevis as a special sustainability zone unless the Nevis Island Administration agrees and approves that declaration. Full control of the development direction of Nevis therefore remains firmly and exclusively with the Nevis Island Administration. The role of Nevis applicable to any zone in Nevis is not restricted to the Nevis Island Administration. Under Section 7 of the law, any development agreement where the zone is in Nevis must be ratified and passed in the Nevis Island Assembly. Put differently, there is oversight and control at both the cabinet level in Nevis and at the parliamentary level as well. The mandatory involvement of the Nevis Island Assembly also ensures that any such development agreement is fully ventilated publicly so that the Nevisian people will know exactly what is being proposed on the island of Nevis. Section 9 of the law provides yet additional safeguards by empowering the Prime Minister for zones in St. Kitts or the Premier for zones in Nevis to establish an independent oversight body to receive and review applications from potential zone developers and to monitor compliance with any zone development. Lastly, the law contains a large number of preconditions before any zone can be considered.
According to Brantley, the priority remains balancing potential economic benefits with the interests and well-being of citizens and the natural environment. He said the proposed requirements must be met before consideration can be given to any developer.
Under Section 5, any applicant to develop a zone must show, among other things, an economic analysis from a reputable firm showing long-term economic benefits to St. Kitts and Nevis, clear plans for developing the infrastructure within the proposed zone so that there is no cost to the Kittitian or Nevisian taxpayer, that the development will cause no harm to the natural environment, that the development is designed for comfort and luxury, that the development will generate water and renewable electricity to meet its needs, clear plans for health services, clear plans for safety and security within the proposed zone, dispute resolution mechanisms for residents in the proposed zone.
As these are all preconditions, it means that any proposed zone developer must satisfy these requirements before being considered as a suitable developer for any proposed zone in St. Kitts or Nevis. Now, what does this mean for Nevis? Of course, for a zone to succeed, we need serious investors and partners.
The Premier of Nevis expressed confidence that the proposed economic zone will bring significant benefits to the island, particularly by supporting economic diversification, which is part of a broader plan to reduce heavy reliance on the citizenship by investment program. Brantley said that the project has the potential to create new opportunities for investment and employment while strengthening the island's long-term resilience.
For years, I have said that Nevis needs a game changer to take our island to the next level of development. The current investor has proposed a development for Nevis which has the potential to create thousands of permanent jobs for Nevisians at home and allow Nevisians abroad to come back home and find meaningful employment, bring billions of dollars of investment to our island, generate hundreds of millions in direct revenue for government, which will allow us to improve healthcare, strengthen education, upgrade our infrastructure, and expand social services, dramatically increase tourism and international recognition, making Nevis a leader in the Caribbean and a shining example to the world, preserve all historic sites and full access to our people, create significant opportunities for new businesses and the expansion of existing local businesses into the zone. I anticipate that more details will be shared in the weeks ahead, but I see before us a future fueled by prosperity, sustainability, and indomitable Nevisian pride.
Public reaction has been divided on the matter. Some residents welcomed the assurance of the Premier, seeing it as a chance to modernize the economy and generate new jobs. Others, however, remain skeptical, pointing to the Premier's earlier denial of knowledge about investor interest and questioning whether transparency is being upheld in the process. Calls have been made for clearer communication and greater community consultation on any large-scale development proposals.
The official opening of the 2025-2026 academic year was held on August 25th, 2025, as the Ministry of Education hosted its annual back-to-school ceremony. Government officials, education leaders, educators, and administrators gathered to celebrate the accomplishments and lessons learned from the past school year. They set a clear vision for continued growth, resilience, and academic excellence in the year ahead. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Education, the Honourable Dr. Jeffrey Hanley, called on the nation's educators to embrace three guiding principles for success: safe spaces, partnerships, and shared responsibility. Minister Hanley charged the fraternity of educators to remain steadfast in the mission to make meaningful, long-standing change in the lives of the nation's youth. In a video message from the Education Minister, Lisa Pistana, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, and Chief Education Officer Francil Morris, they emphatically welcomed educators, parents, and students to the new school year.
I'm so excited to welcome all of my teachers back to school 2025-2026. Thanks for your service over these many years, and may God continue to bless each and every one of you as we continue working together, shaping the lives of our nation's youth. Welcome back to school.
It is an honor to welcome you back to the 2025-2026 school year. It's going to be an amazing year. Remember, come ready to learn and take advantage of all of the opportunities afforded to you. Welcome back and have a wonderful 2025-2026 school year.
On behalf of the Department of Education Services, I want to extend a warm welcome to everyone to the 2025-2026 school year. Let us make this year a new journey of growth, possibilities, and shared successes.
With the academic year officially opening with a sense of celebration and accomplishment, the year also opens to create space where students ask questions, make leaps, and discover paths to their future.
The Premier of Nevis, Mark Brantley, is citing hypocrisy on the part of a member of the opposition, Dr. Janice Daniel Hodge, in the ongoing debate over the development of a special sustainability zone on the island. During his Monday, August 25, 2025 address to the nation, Brantley alleged that Dr. Janice Daniel Hodge had previously sold the land for the very purpose of advancing the project, yet is now actively discouraging other citizens from doing the same. He argued that it is unfair for Daniel Hodge, the Nevis Reformation Party leader, to criticize the land sale initiative while benefiting personally from a similar arrangement.
Indeed, I am advised that prominent members of the opposition were among the very first to agree to sell their lands, to sign agreements, and to collect their monies. It cannot be right for high-ranking members of the NRP Nevis to sell their lands, pocket millions of dollars, and then turn around and blame the government. I have heard the recent public utterances of the leader of the NRP, Dr. Janice Daniel Hodge, and I wish to place on record that the leader of the NRP is one of two executors of the estate of her late father. She is a main beneficiary of the estate's lands in the south of Nevis. She was among the very first to sell her land for this proposed development and pocket her money. Dr. Daniel Hodge cannot sell her land and pocket millions, then turn around and tell Nevisians that the sale of the same lands by them is wrong. So you are not to benefit from your land, but Janice and her family are to benefit from their land. So she can count money, but you're not supposed to count your money. This is the height of hypocrisy and dishonesty.
Dr. Janice Daniel Hodge clapped back at the Premier, threatening to take legal action against him for what she deemed an attack on her integrity. In a written statement, she said, quote, "My fellow Nevisians, the Premier continues to lie on my name. He continues to attack my integrity, and in his desperation, he sinks deeper and deeper into dishonesty. Tonight, the Premier slandered my good name and claimed that I sold the lands on the southern side of Nevis and pocketed millions. This is absolutely false, and I will not sit on this. As early as tomorrow, I will pursue swift legal action. If the Premier can prove anywhere that I have pocketed millions from any land sale, I will resign my seat forthwith. That is how confident I am, because I know the truth. I do not understand how a human being can lie like this. This is sick." The Bible tells us in John 8:44, "When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it." Unquote. The proposed special sustainability zone is situated on the southern coast of Nevis in the area of Long Point to Saddle Hill. In the ongoing debate, the real estate firm 17 Degrees North, owned by the Premier's wife, has popped up as a big player in the proposed development.
They allege that people will be forced to sell their lands. That is legally impossible. No one will ever be forced to sell their land. If you do not want to sell, you do not sell. All land transactions are private, voluntary agreements between buyer and seller. They have attacked my wife and her business. I wish to state for the record that my wife has had a fully licensed, fully operational real estate practice in Nevis for 20 years, even prior to my entry into politics. I have no interest in her business. Like any licensed realtor on Nevis, she's free to represent clients to buy and sell real estate as they wish. I can confirm that she's not buying or selling any real estate that belongs to the government of Nevis. She's engaged in private business, not government business.
Brantley, in his statement, explained that Nevisians have a right to accept or refuse to sell their lands. He denied his government's involvement in any land sales on the southern coast, saying that it is entirely private transactions between private landowners and purchasers.
Every Nevisian has the right to buy and sell lands as he or she wishes. Therefore, if anyone is approached to purchase his or her private lands, he or she has the right to say yea or nay, and of course to negotiate a price of his or her choosing. It should be obvious that the government cannot prevent any Nevisian landowner from selling his or her land, nor can we compel any Nevisian landowner to sell his or her land. The buying and selling of land are entirely a private matter as between buyer and seller, and it is they who must agree or disagree, as the case may be, on whether any particular parcel of land is bought and sold and at what price. It is therefore a monstrous misrepresentation for anyone to say to the people of Nevis that the government is involved in any large-scale sale of lands. Currently,
The land sales on the South Coast are entirely private transactions between private landowners and purchasers. The allegation that the government is using compulsory acquisition under the new law to force Nevisians off their land is equally false and absurd.
The South Coast is a relatively underdeveloped landscape with no infrastructure in place, which Brantley views as an area that can be revitalized once the right partner and the right investment are in place.
Those who know the geography of Nevis will know that the South Coast is largely barren, with no development and no infrastructure. The lands in that area are owned by a large number of private landowners. I emphasize private landowners. The majority of lands in that area, originally owned by the government on behalf of the people of Nevis, some 238 acres, were swapped by the previous NRP-led NIA to the National Bank during the land for debt swap exercise. The people of Nevis have therefore already lost those lands. With the right partner and the right investment, these undeveloped lands can be restored, revitalized, and kept mostly green, while creating a community that is low-rise, sustainable, and environmentally responsible.
Brantley concluded that the people of Nevis entrusted him to lead the island, and part of the leadership is trying to attract a significant investment to Nevis. The Ministry and Department of Education, Nevis, hosted its annual Education Convocation on August 25, 2025, bringing together educators, administrators, and officials for a day of reflection, planning, and inspiration ahead of the 2025-2026 academic year. The event, held at the Nevis Performing Arts Center, provided a platform to discuss the successes, challenges, and future priorities within the island's education sector. In her opening address, the Principal Education Officer, Londa Brown, underscored the importance of educators and other school staff stepping into ownership of their story and the story of those in their charge.
As I think of the new school year, I think of a quote framed by author Susan Statham, and she said, "Your life is a story. Write well, edit often." And I think of it because each year in August, we get a chance to edit not just our stories, but the stories of our students who we are helping to create their story as well. Our chosen theme for this year, Own the Journey, Reclaiming Purpose, Restoring Passion, Renewing Practice, is therefore not just a bold choice, but a personal one. It calls each of us to step into authorship of our story and the story of those in our charge.
Brown also encouraged educators to lead with intention and live with integrity.
To take ownership not just of the outcomes, but of the process. To lead with intention and to live with integrity. Whatever role you play, you have a part in getting our students to the finish line, to the vision, to their success. To own the journey is to write with courage, to edit with humility, to teach with heart, to lead with intention. It means recognizing that while we can't control every plot twist, the path is ours to shape. We can choose to show up, not just physically, but fully. Don't just be a body in the space, someone who works at a school and you see the physical presence. Own the journey. Fully commit to your role. Show up with purpose, with passion, with a commitment to continuous renewal.
Troy Liburd, Minister of Education in the Nevis Island Administration, welcomed the teaching and supporting staff with the expectation that teachers would bring fresh approaches and creativity into the classroom. He admonished the new teachers to utilize the support of a strong network of seasoned teachers. The Minister of Education also commended the teachers for their resilience and dedication, particularly in overcoming the challenges faced in recent years. He emphasized the government's commitment to strengthening the education system and meeting the needs of teachers that they have consistently lobbied for.
I want to welcome those who are new teachers, okay? So you're just coming into the profession, whether you're coming out of school, you're coming back from and Nevis. And I want you to know that you're not going to be walking alone. You have a whole support system here with you. You have teachers who you can lean on, teachers who you can ask questions, and teachers who you can learn from. Don't be afraid to ask them, okay? So I want to welcome all of you new teachers. And of course, those of you who are coming back, I hope you're returning with a renewed sense of purpose. I want to thank you for your dedication over the years that you have been teaching.
A panel discussion was held at the convocation. Mr. John Williams, Education Officer responsible for STEM at the Department of Education, highlighted the need to embrace digital literacy, critical thinking, and student-centered teaching approaches to prepare learners for an increasingly globalized and technology-driven workforce. Additionally, Ms. Danella Claxton, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, introduced the educators to the Teachers Excellence Program, bringing enthusiasm and signaling a positive start to the school term. The program is phase one of a broader initiative focused on empowering teachers, enhancing classrooms, and elevating learning. The 2025-2026 school year begins on September 1, 2025. The gathering provided an opportunity for teachers to reflect on the past year's accomplishments and set goals for the school year ahead.
You are listening to the Week in Review here on WINN FM 98.9. Thank you for listening and have a productive week.